Hello YouTube chess lovers and my friends, this is Gunjan here. Welcome to the second episode of Dirty Chess Tricks against Sicilian. In this lecture, I'm going to show you some of the amazing and wonderful tricks against Sicilian Najdorf variation, which arises after the move order e4, c5, knight to f3, d6, d4, c captures d4, knight captures d4, knight to f6, knight to c3, and in the last lecture we have looked at the dragon variation which arises after the move g6, but this time around the Najdorf variation is characterized by this move, that is a6. So the idea is very simple. Black is stopping any knight intrusion on the b5 square, and in the future black can expand with the b5 move. The first trick which I want to show you occurs in the Sicilian variation, which is popularized by none other than Mr. Fischer himself. That is to play bishop to c4. So you can see that bishop is posted on a wonderful diagonal, and the general theory of Najdorf goes with the move e6. So idea is now to play the move b5. So white has to play the move bishop to b3, and now black has two most popular setups. The first move, that is knight b to d7, has been popularized by Mr. Kasparov, and the idea is to play the move knight to c5 and nab the bishop pair. Against this, I'm recommending that white should play the move bishop to g5, pinning the knight, and it is a characteristic of a Najdorf player that whenever this move appears on the board, most of them try to unpin this knight with the move bishop to e7. And this is where our trick straight away comes into the picture. I want to illustrate the key points of our tricks. Now, first of all, you can easily see that the last move bishop to e7 has weakened the g7 square severely. And not only that, right now the e6 square is not well protected by the bishop. So this will allow us to create this amazing piece sacrifice, that is bishop captures e6, bam. If black doesn't recapture, then black will be a pawn down for nothing. So obviously black has to recapture with the f pawn. And after knight captures e6, most of the Najdorf player has tried the move queen to a5. Idea is to limit the activity of c3 knight and at the same time keep an eye of the loose bishop. Well, here white will continue with the move knight captures g7 check, and after king to f7, you can easily see that white has gained 3 pawns for a piece and black king is stripped out in the middle. So this is a more than enough compensation for an attacking player. Here obviously white's two pieces are hanging, so white has to play the move knight to f4, attacking the d6, and this is another big advantage of this line. You can easily see black cannot defend the d6 square. For example, if black tried to defend the d6 square with the move queen to c7, then there comes knight captures e7, and not only white will regain a piece, but white is straight away in the winning position. Now, to illustrate how much dangerous this position is, once again I like to show you one of my quick win in this line. In this game, where my opponent was more than 1800 plus rated player, he responded with the move knight to c5. So his idea is to free up the bishop and do some counter attack on the white king side. Well, here I first of all capture this knight, so there is an attack on the rook as well. And if black recapture with the bishop, then queen to h5 is a very lethal move. So in the game, my opponent responded with the move king captures f6. Well, afterwards I'll continue with the move queen to d4 check, and my opponent play with his king, that is king to e6. Here white can easily capture the rook in the corner, but I found a stronger continuation, that is knight captures e7. So my opponent save his rook and counter attack on my knight with the move rook to e8. And now comes a second stronger move, that is b4, attacking two pieces. So the another piece goes back, that is queen to d8. Now I save my knight with the move knight to d5. So that means black has the only move left, that is he has to move his knight, otherwise black will be a piece down for nothing. So in the game my opponent decided to play the move knight to d7, but the end is very near. Before I show you my next move, I want you to pause the video and find out there is a one move that almost finished black off. Okay, I hope you find this move, that is queen to g7. So idea is very simple. White wants to play the move knight to f4, and that will be the checkmate. After a few minutes thinking, luckily my opponent spotted this and he played the move rook to f8. But when you're losing, you just lose. After white's next move, that is knight to e2, there is no escape for the mating attack. My opponent resigned at this point. Now the same sort of pattern you can find in another variation, that is at this point if black plays the move b5, then I recommend that white should continue with the move bishop to g5. Obviously black is going to play the move bishop to e7, and still the e6 pawn is well protected by the bishop, so it's not a time for the sacrifice. But white has the good move, that is queen to f3. So idea is to play the move e5 and attacking two pieces. So obviously many Najdorf player will stop this via the move bishop to b7. Yes, indeed it's stopping the e5 advance, but it created the theme which we want, that is now g7 and e6 become severely weak, and our familiar pattern will come into the picture, that is, yep, bishop captures e6, bam. F captures e6 and knight captures e6, more or less the same story. Black will play the move queen to e5, knight captures g7 check, king to f7, and this time around white even do not need to play the move knight to f5. So once again I like to show you one of my own game where I responded with the move bishop captures f6, and after black recapture I simply play the move knight to f5. So once again we are threatening the d6 square. My opponent responded here with the move rook to d8, and now another good move, that is castle on the queen side. You can see black is having a great difficulty not only defending the d6 square, but his king is wide open. Here my opponent, after a long thinking, come out with the move bishop captures c3. So his idea is to create a counter attack on my queen side, but what he missed is after knight captures d6 check, which is a double check, of course the king goes to the g8 square. I give another check, that is queen to f7, and after king to h8 he missed a simple but very effective move, that is knight captures b7, and the game is finished right there. He's tried some cheapos, that is bishop captures b2 check, but I just sidestep everything with the move king to b1. He captured my rook, I recapture, and now in the view of queen is hanging, he played the move queen to b6, but he complete the mating move, that is queen to f8, a checkmate. So those are some of the wonderful tricks in the Sicilian variation. Now the final trick I want to show you, it occurs in the main line with the move bishop to g5. After the move bishop to g5, the main line goes as follows. Black plays the move e6, and white responded here with the move f4. Black respond with the move bishop to e7, and now queen to f3. So idea is to castle quickly on the queen side and go for the king side attack. Here the theory goes with the move knight to d7, and after castle on the queen side, black plays the move queen to c7. White continue his expansion on the king side with the move g4, and likewise black continue his attack on the queen side with the move b5. And the trap set it right over here. Here white has this amazing move, that is bishop captures f6. There are three ways black can recapture, but two of them are very bad. If black capture with the G pawn, then it is very obvious that black king will be remain in the center, and not only that, white has this positional threat of the move f5, so that is not good. If black capture with the knight, which is considered as to be the main line, but after this move, white has the tremendous initiative, that is to play the move g5, and when the knight drop backs to the d7, white has another advance, that is f5, and you can already see white is gaining quite a bit initiative there. So considering all this, after bishop captures f6, many Najdorf player plays the move bishop captures f6 and thinking what can be wrong with this move. Well, here our trick comes into the picture. Now you can already see bishop captures e6 has weakened the d6 square significantly, and that means white can exploit this magnificently with this amazing sacrifice. Bishop captures b5, bam. Now if black doesn't recapture, then obviously black is going to be a pawn down for nothing. So we should obviously see what happens after black capture the piece. So a captures b5, and obviously knight d captures b5 with an attack on the queen. I reached this position only in one game, where my opponent played here the move queen to b8. Obviously white is gaining 3 pawns for a piece, and with attack to boot. My opponent responded over here with the move king to f8, but this is actually a big mistake. Before we go on, I want you to pause the video and find a continuation where white is completely winning. Okay, I hope you find this move, that is knight captures c8, queen captures c8, now the move e5, attacking the bishop, and when the bishop drop back somewhere, for example, let's say in the game my opponent plays the move bishop to e7, yep, rook captures d7. So not only regaining the piece, but white is a clear 3 pawn ahead in the game, and not to mention attack to boot. Well, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment on my video, and I'll meet you in my next episode. Bye.